What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Friday. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I'm obsessed with these shades and I'm not gonna wear them the whole show, but I needed y'all to see them. I needed somebody else to see these shades because I'm obsessed with them. welcome to Queens of the Yard. Queens of the Yard celebrates women who reign with purpose, pride, and power across HBCUs, from campus queens to community leaders, and now the queens behind the school sports and spotlight. Each episode highlights women shaping the HBCU legacy on and off the field. Hosted by me, Sheena, Queens of the Yard blends sisterhood, sports, storytelling, and unapologetic culture to amplify the brilliance of HBCU women, past and present, where every crown tells a story. Welcome. You 30 for 30 part 3. Let me tell you, I'm so obsessed with mirror sunglasses. Like, I got these today. They're so ridiculous. I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. I'm obsessed. I got a billion pair of mirror sunglasses. Like, I don't know. Yo. I'm wearing them to church on Sunday. Is my camera foggy? Does my camera look foggy to you guys? It looks a little foggy to me. Let me see. Maybe I just can't see because I'm freaking in these crazy shades. They would definitely do great at football games because I got these. These were my last season football game glasses, and I love these shades. I love these. I got these. And then I got these. These have like a pink kind of tint to them, where the other ones are like yellow, orange. And these are like black and purple. Because why not? If you're not going to be fashionable, why are you there? Because, that's how we do here at Queens of the Yard. All right, let's get through the show rundown. So what are we talking about today? Today, we are talking about flag football as an emerging sport in the NCAA. We're going to talk a little bit about what emerging sports are, why they exist, who they impact. We are also giving a big shout out to our D9 organizations. It's almost every day of the week. This week we have said Happy Founders Day to our amazing folks over in the Greek world. And we wanted to shout them out on today's episode because there was a lot of Founders Day this week. And then we are going, Queen of the Week is back. One of our favorite segments from season 1 is finally back. It took a while to get into the groove of things, and I wanted to get kind of settled into the season before we started bringing that back. So, bringing it all back. So, NCAA Emerging Sports. First off, share the podcast, hit like, talk to us in the chat. HBCU Game Day is here. Run in the chat for me, because I can't do one thing at a time, let alone two. First off, we got any Greeks in the building. If you're a part of a D9 or a Greek organization, hit us up in the chat. And I do talk back. Y'all know I be reading these comments. I be all in. So if you talk to me, I talk back. So let's talk about NCAA Emerging Sports. NCAA Emerging Sport is a women's sport officially recognized by the NCAA that is developed to expand athletic opportunities for women and help schools comply with Title IX. We'll talk about Title IX on next week's episode, but if you're not familiar, get familiar. So we saw this week that WSSU, we are the inaugural champions for the flag football. So in order for it to be an emerging sport, it needs to be beyond a club sport. So it's an actual varsity program like football, basketball, volleyball, track. So it's also governed by the NCAA. And I believe you can do an emerging sport for 3 years. You have to show growth potential. You have to show that people are interested. There is an attendance requirement that comes along with emerging sports. So the emerging sports is its own like subsection, if you will, of NCAA sports authority. So once you reach a certain amount, you have to have, I think it is 9 varsity programs before you can do an emerging sport. So WSSU has those 9. We have, I'm not going to list them all, but I just listed off like the big 6. Plus we have golf, What else do we have? A couple of other ones. We'll go through those in a little bit. But the reason why they exist is to increase women participation opportunities and to get new programs. There are sports that are changing. There are different sports that they have across the NCAA, like what are some of the other sports? Hold on, they have my notes here. Hold on, let me get my notes. Okay. Beach volleyball has become a championship sport because of the Emerging Sports program. We have acrobatics and tumbling. We have seen that at Fisk and some other universities. We have the triathlon is an emerging sport. We have women wrestling is an emerging sport, and stunt. I know who it is. Oh, I watch them all the time. They have a stunt program. Hold on, we're getting some notes here. Oh, that was just saying I logged in from XR. So shout out to my WSSU Rams for kind of setting the tone and putting it out there that you can continue to expand your school's athletic programs. Even as women, I know we don't typically think of women's sports as the ones that lead the way specifically for athletics at our institutions, but it is nice to see the NCAA one support this type level of program. And then you have emerging sports at all three levels of the divisions. You have them at D1, you have them at D2, and at D3. So, excuse me. As long as you have a certain amount of folks on your roster and you meet the NCAA requirements for emerging sports, then that is something that your institution could do. So some things that really set this apart from things like intramurals or club sports is scholarships is one thing that is really big. You can have a scholarship on an emerging sports so that, as we look into recruiting and we look into the legacy and the pipeline of HBCU sports, they are, able to, even at the high school level, middle school level, start to plan their careers to come up through some of those non-traditional sports, right? Cut a check. As we talked about NIL last week. So scholarships are also big, but we also have the NIL platform, which allows our athletes to get paid based on their person and their likeness and their name. So it really expands out the opportunities that our students have and our women that they have. There is a standard of rules that have to be submitted. You have to have a board. Definitely cut a check. We are here, not to say we're here for the money, but we want to get education and we want to make sure that we're doing things, because as we're cutting checks for these scholarships, for these NIL deals, that's all a way to put back into your institution, into the program. Sponsors, corporations, they see that and they say, oh, they've really got some stuff going on over here. And then, this opens the door for, what's up, Deltas? What's up? Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to tell y'all now, I am not a part of a Greek organization, so I have nothing but love for all of them. But I thank you so much for joining. Thanks so much for jumping in here, Miss Shirley. Excuse me. So going back to our emerging sports, the sport must be sponsored at the varsity level. Again, club teams don't really count. What's up, Jackson? My boys just got home. I know we're talking about the ladies, but my boys just got home. Hi. How was your day? Good. Love to hear it. So they must have a coaching system. So they have to have a head coach, assistant coach, and all the coaching staff that your normal varsity programs would have. They have to have a budget. They have to be able to travel and get uniforms and the supplies that they need, the training that they need. They have to have recruiting support. So there has to be a recruiting pipeline in place for these emerging sports and for scholarships. Again, we just talked about that. Scholarships are optional, but again, why else would we be doing this if we're not making a way for these kids to pay for their educations? So in order to move from emerging to a championship type program, when you're standard varsity, there has to be at least 40 NCAA institutions with that emerging sport. So at least 40 NCAA separate, 40 separate schools need to have this program at their varsity level. And again, it can be across the three different levels or divisions. You can have D1, D2, D3. So anywhere within that range, you just need the 40. And then you have to have participation, which is, my number one, soapbox point is we have to participate as alumni, as the community, to support these different programs. Just like we show up for football games. I went to WSSU's basketball game. We went for a 14th consecutive win the other day. The ladies went for a 14th consecutive win the other day, and it was packed. It was packed. It was, let's say, I want the Chiefs in the seats for the flag football. So as soon as it warms up, I'm taking my stadium chair right on out to the field, and I'll be there supporting our girls for flag football. So back to our structure for what our emerging sports are. So they have to have a standardized rule of play. They all have to play the same way. They all have to play the same thing, and they have to be submitted to the NCAA for NCAA to approve them. They have to have I'm going to need a lawn chair at WSSU. That's fine. I got them too. I got all of them, and my kid is in sports, so it ain't a chair situation that I don't have. So I'm definitely prepared. And let's see if I can get one made with our logo on it. Merch idea. You have to have a defined season length. So just like basketball, football, golf, all of them have their respective seasons. I think cheerleading may be the only one that doesn't have a specific season in detail outside of when school is open for the most part. You have to have a specified season for your sport. You have to have a nationally recognized governing body. So you have to have a board of directors. You have to have people in place, commissioners that also govern and make the rules and bylaws for that sport. And it has to be NCAA championship approved format. So you have to have some type of legacy plan for, sorry, you guys, I'm now distracted. Let me do not disturb. Okay. So again, standardized rule of play, defined season length, a governing body, and an NCAA approved championship format. So they have to know, again, we have a plan in place because, again, emerging sports have to exist for at least 3 years before they can move over into a championship format. And then once they do that, their governing body has to submit that to the NCAA, and the NCAA has to approve their championship format. What that looks like, is it playoffs? Is it tournaments? Is it whatever the case may be? So, and also, some things that the NCAA will evaluate are year-over-year additions. Is the program growing? Is it successful? Does it have a recruiting pipeline? Is it, again, in that recruiting segment, do we have high school players? We have community clubs, programs that have a way to recruit, like a recruiting pool for these programs. I know. And just like Play 360 has a flag football. Flag football is getting to be really popular here, I know, in North Carolina, but also I'm assuming that it would mirror across the country as we kind of expand our women's sports in general. Geographic diversity. So we want to make sure like all of them aren't located in the South or located, centrally. They have to have a broad range. Remember, we have 40 institutions that this can go across in order for it to be named a championship level sport. So your institutional commitment, your school has to buy into it. I know, like I said, WSSU is where I'm an alumni from, and they do an amazing job at promoting our flag football teams. They have marketing teams. They do things, our SID and our athletic director, interim. In the meantime, and like I said, we're in between kind of a formal athletic director right now. But so those are some of the things that the NCAA will evaluate in regards to emerging sports. So if we get to a point where it stalls out, then, what happened to my face here? Where we at? I'm split screening it up. Oh, there we go. Oh, we still talking about NCAA. Hey, Alonzo, welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. So if the sport, if it starts to stall out, then they'll be removed. So if it gets to be a point, so year 3, it starts to decline, NCAA will look at that and they'll say, this isn't, not to say worth a championship level sport, but this isn't meeting the requirements that we've set to move over to a championship format. So We also have that Title IX alignment. And like I said, I promise we will talk more Title IX in the next, because that's a whole program. Like that's a whole thing. It's not specific to sports. Title IX goes into a lot of like legal details in regards to student treatment, especially women, and how it impacts the student life. So we will definitely go into that next week. But just to touch on it in specifics, for our NCAA emerging sports conversation, they often add emerging sports to meet that Title IX requirement to offset roster imbalances. So that way we have a certain amount of women in athletics in the school, and it's not all men athletic programs. Expand participation numbers. We have seen the growth in flag football for our club programs. So now it is being taken more serious, and it has moved over into emerging sports. Yes, we're going to get to the church announcements. And then we want to add high roster sports effectively. We want to make sure that we're coming into these programs with a good, solid base. I know we teased Virginia University at Lynchburg came over and they played basketball, and they have 5-6 people on the team, like the whole team. I don't know if something happened where some of the folks couldn't travel or couldn't come to WSSU, but it was 6 people on that team. We was tired for them, but we want to make sure that we're adding who Virginia. Okay, maybe that's the case. Virginia, so maybe they just don't abide by, not to say abide by, but they don't have to follow the same bylaws as NCAA government schools do. So thank you for that caveat. HBCU game day. So we talked about the things that we do get. We talked about the requirements. So let's chat a little bit about what they don't get. They don't get as much media exposure. It's really dependent on the institution to promote the brand of their emerging sport, whether it is, flag football or triathlon or some of the other ones that we talked about. The variable scholarship limits, they're not necessarily in place, because not to say it's a non-issue, but as it becomes small, such a small thing, scholarship limits aren't looked at the same way as they are in the championship format. There's no automatic NCAA championship, obviously, because it's not in the championship format. But it gives the opportunity to continue to grow, and we hit that year 3 and we're successful and we move over to the championship format, then it falls under NCAA championship format. So I think it is really amazing that the CIAA is an early adopter, shaping the sport. They have a lot of voice. They have a lot of opportunity to talk about and to create what it looks like to be a flag football program in the NCAA. And hopefully that inspires other institutions to transition their club programs or start to offer some of their other their larger club programs over into the NCAA emerging sports format, and then hopefully into a championship format. So that matters, excuse me, specifically for HBCUs, because you already know we're underfunded. We already know that some of the challenges that we have for our D2 schools and HBCUs, not to say that they're one and the same, but they're both, typically underfunded. We have that first mover advantage. We have the creator opportunity to kind of set the tone and set the pace of what the expectations are for these types of programs. They can align with local talent. For one, shout out to HBCU FC for sponsoring my shirt today. This is the choice. Let me show you the back. It's pretty cool. So this is inspired by Hampton University over in Hampton, Virginia, where I'm from. Well, I'm from Newport News, but they're like neighbors. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Shout out again, HBCU FC. But thinking about like local talent, I know we have the HBCU FC Classic coming up. And for here, we have the Say Word FC locally, which we'll look to that pool from. And that's a place where we can actively recruit from, even at the collegiate level, to say, hey, come play college soccer at our HBCUs, because we have that local talent in those local programs. So that is a part of the recruiting pool. And then it attracts new donors and grants. Different grant programs that may sponsor some of the smaller sports programs or some of the smaller athletic teams. And it's not really Definitely repping for the 757. And I'm old, so it was 804 back when I was from there. 707 is like a 90s thing. So, but it's very important to establish that early on in the field, right? Like, it is very important that we start to set the tone and set the expectation of what this is really going to be like in the next 3 or 4 years. I think this is year one. Last year might have been the first year. I don't know if it was considered emerging sport last year, but I know this year it is. So this could, we're year one, year two. I'm going to fact check that. But we, gonna see some growth in this, and I'm gonna be watching out. It was not what I need. Complete sentences here. So definitely gonna keep my eye on flag football, and of course some of the other emerging sports like stunt, wrestling, triathlon, women's volleyball, and give ourselves the opportunity to grow into championship formats. So if your college or institution, your alma mater has an emerging sport, tell me about it. Hit that chat and tell me what sports you guys have. If you guys have stunt at your school or rugby at your school or some of the other, like I said, emerging sports that are there, let me know. All right, moving along. We saw lots of jumping in. Absolutely much love to our WSSU Rams for setting the tone of what it looks like to be a leader in the emerging sports. And we are the inaugural championship for CIAA. And again, big shout out to the CIAA for, taking the lead and broadening out these programs for women so they can participate in more than our big six sports. All right, so it is the first, second, third week of January, and we have celebrated Founders Day for Kappa Alpha Psi. Their Founders Day was January 5th. We have Phi Beta Sigma. It was January 9th. And then Delta Sigma Theta was January 13th. Alpha Kappa Alpha was January 15th. And then Zeta Phi Beta, which is today. So happy Founders Day to any Zetas in the chat. Happy Founders Day too. And those are not the complete list of D9. So if I did not shout you out, I will shout you out in your respective month of founding. I will not forget about you, but we had so many happening this month. I didn't want to leave out the conversation of the impact even. So yes, it is Founders Day, but as a person who I don't want to call what they call people who are not part of a Greek organization. I'm just not part of a Greek organization, right? But I definitely respect them because they do so much work in our community. They are almost sometimes the face of HBCUs. It is how people see HBCU and the HBCU experience. It is a huge part of the HBCU experience. Even though that there are D9 organizations that are on PWIs or non-HBCU institutions. So we definitely know that. We have even some that were founded at PWIs or non-HBCUs. So you definitely don't want to leave those out, but at least the ones we said today, we have already identified that they were I think 5 of the 6 that we had were founded at Howard. So Howard has done an amazing job setting the tone, and it's the Mecca for a reason. So D9 organizations are huge when we talk about giving back to the community. All day, every day, I see different organizations, different chapters that give back to the schools, that give back to different parts of the community. What's up, Ray Ray? Ray Ray, our favorite SID over at Johnson C. Smith. Go Golden Bulls. We want to shout you out. Happy belated Founders Day to you. But yes, Ray Ray is a Delta. Our Deltas are showing up. What's up, girlies? I read a long post of what to not call y'all, so I'm not gonna call y'all anything other than the amazing Deltas. So shout out to all of our Deltas and all of our other Greek orgs that are in the chat today. Um, Another cool thing that I really like about D9 organizations is, in addition to going to an HBCU, you also have some of those like legacy points where, you know, the father is a Q and then the sons are a Q. I know one of my favorite professors, the Professor Monell, his sons are Qs. So I think that is really cool to, you know, have to establish a legacy within such an amazing organization. And like, again, I wasn't part of a Greek organization, but my grandmother was a part of, excuse me, a part of an organization called the Mechanics, which is very similar to like Eastern Stars or Masonry or Masons. I don't mean Masonry like the trade, but Masons, they're called the Mechanics. And it is kind of similar in structure to the way that they support the community. They're community-based organizations. There are certain requirements that you have to meet. You have to pay dues. You have to participate. You have community service. So, your whole family is AKAs and alphas. Well, look at you stepping out the box. And each organization has a different, they have different pillars. So just because your mom was an AKA doesn't mean you're an AKA, because you may be passionate about something different. And there's an organization that supports more of what you're passionate about and the things that are pillars for you. I have considered it. I have a couple of books that I have read in preparation for some of those things. And I have learned a lot. And I have so much respect for our D9 organizations and the things that they're doing across campus and across our communities. So to all my Greeks in the chat, why did you pick the organization that you're a part of? I'm going to skip over HBCU Game Days comment there, harassing harassing them. I wasn't touching it. I wasn't touching it. Y'all know in my heart, Johnson C. Smith got a special place in my heart. I'm a Charlotte. I love Charlotte, and I love my Golden Bulls. So maybe next game, baby. But why did you select? And were you a part of a legacy where your parents or your grandparents were all? Yes, I try to make my face good. I try to be good at all my HBCU, because for me, it's all HBCU love. What's up, Liv? We got another HBCU Game Day baddie in the building. Also with HBCU Go. Go TV. So shout out to Liv. So we're just taking some time to shout out all of our Greek organizations and all the amazing work that you all do in the communities, and how much of a big part of the HBCU culture that you all have. And the impact that you have made over the years since the early 1900s. So I really HBCU baddies, HBCU Game Day baddies. We're a team over here. Speaking of baddies, let's talk about our Queen of the Week. And again, one last shout out to all of my D9 organizations. Again, happy belated Founders Day to everyone. Happy Founders Day today to the Zetas. Thank you so much for all that you all do and the impact that you all have on the culture here at our HBCUs and the work that you're doing in the communities. So let's talk about community work. Our Queen of the Week is none other than the hottest coach on the block right now. We got Coach Tierra Terry. Is our WSSU women's basketball coach. She is this week's Queen of the Week for 1,000 reasons. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Coach Terry. I'm gonna let her tell you a little bit about her first. Roll that beautiful beam footage. We can't hear it.
It was supposed to be blackout night, so we decided to participate in it.
Coach, I noticed you guys, you and the coaching staff all wore black. Was it like just a fashion statement, or it was the time for the colors?
Well, I'm personally a fan of all black, but it was supposed to be blackout night, so we decided to participate in it. We do try to go with the themes when we can, but I personally love all black. I think it's very dapper. I'm a very big Godfather and Mafia fan, so I just feel like it looks like I'm about to eat lunch at the table or something. I don't know, but I just think it's a cool. I like all black.
Yeah, I kind of thought of New Jack City.
Now, leave me.
Yeah, that too.
So, yeah.
Something gangster. But yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve, for that amazing press conference footage from WSSU's very own Coach Terry. Coach Terry joins us after 5 seasons with Virginia Union, where she went 60-51 during her tenure over those 5 years. They finished last season 21-9, and we saw Maya Charles, who is now with WSSU, be CIAA Rookie of the Year. She also coach 2 CIAA at the Apollo. That's not the first time I've heard that either. All light-skinned people don't look like. Dang it. 4 preseason, all CIAA, 2 all-rookie, 1 Rookie of the Year, and 1 HBCU All-Star MVP, class valedictorian and salutatorian, and was selected to the inaugural BCIC tournament. Last year, Virginia Union finished 2nd in the Northern Division, ranked 2nd in offense in the CIAA, and 3rd in defense, 3rd in block shots, 2nd in assists, and 2nd in team field goal percentage. So she has a legacy. Legacy is one of my favorite words, as you guys can tell. She is known for the work that she puts in. Prior to Virginia Union, she was at the College of William and Mary, also another Virginia school. She ain't going far from home. I know that. So they had one for the history books with a school record of 21 wins. Seems like school records is what she does. I know that's right, Coach Terry. And then prior to coaching there, she was a recruiting coordinator at Western Carolina. She began her coaching career right here at home at Winston-Salem State University, where she was also a student athlete. She went on to earn her master's in counseling at University of West Florida. And she is a member of the International Honor Society in Psychology, Alpha Phi Omega National Service Fraternity, and the Women Basketball Coaches Association and National Association of Basketball Coaches. So in addition to all of those amazing accolades, she is now our season 2 #1 Queen of the Week. She's very active in her community. She volunteers with Upward Basketball. Upward is a program. They don't believe in wins and losses, but they really focus on the spirit of the game. They focus on peer-to-peer encouragement. They focus on just the techniques of the game. So Upward is something that my boys played before they moved on to regular like city and school, student athlete type sports. So I got a lot of respect for the Upward program. The YMCA, the Latin Flavor Entertainment, the Boys and Girls Club, women's basketball, mentor program, Joy Prom, and the Callaway Valley Festival in North Carolina. So I am a big fan of Coach Terry, and I'm so excited. Like I said, we just celebrated 14 wins with WSSU, and I've had the opportunity to just kind of sit and watch her coach. Like I said, I go to the games because I want to be a part of it. I believe in cheeks in the seats, and she has this subtle way of kind of coaching everybody at the same time, even outside of the players that are on the court. It is very interesting to kind of be in her presence. She is very down to earth. I really admire her a lot. It is really nice always talking to her. She always has some, fun story to tell, or, she's very structured. She's very serious about the game of basketball, and it shows like her basketball knowledge. It shows, and it's showing now ever more in our WSSU women's basketball program. So we are excited for the rest of the season. We are excited for a CIAA tournament, and I'm excited. I was excited to watch her last year when she coached UU, and I was really, really, like I said, impressed, if you will, by the way that she poised all the time. And like I said, the way that she pulls that board out and she gets to writing and she makes great changes. And then yes, we got to get from the Bears. I think we play tomorrow. Is that correct? Is that on our weekend? I gotta see when we play again, but I know we play. Okay, bet. All right. Well, guess where I'll be at tomorrow? I got an appointment in Winston anyway, so I'll definitely be there. Miss the weekend, so I'll be there. But again, congratulations to Coach Terry on our, what's in Raleigh? Now it's not, the game is in Raleigh? What? I can't try to Winston and Raleigh tomorrow. I'm like right in the middle. Okay, the game is in Raleigh. I don't know. I might. I'm only 40 minutes from Raleigh, so we'll see. We shall see. But again, shout out to you, Coach Terry, all the amazing things that you're doing on and off the court. We really, really admire the work that you're doing. We really, really, really appreciate the effort that you're putting into our basketball program. And we look forward to continuing to see you and the ladies do amazing things. All right, we talked about where we're going to games this weekend. So I'm definitely going to try to make that trip up to Raleigh. Something happened with my allergies. I don't know what's going on, but I'm like extra snotty right now. Let's see. Let's pull up HBCU game day. Of course, now is the perfect time to tell you to get all your news at hbcugameday.com. Make sure you get the app so you don't miss any of the things. You don't want to miss it. Let's see who we got playing tomorrow. So if you're on HBCU game day and you go over to, it's already at the top. So I'm gonna start with women's basketball because what is Queens of the Year without the women? You all. Women's basketball. Here we go. All right, Saturday. Well, let's see who we got today in the CIAA going. Today's Friday. I see Livingstone playing Augusta tonight. And then mañana we have, I was about to say Livingstone. Livingstone Claflin. How Livingstone playing twice? Did I hit you all? No. What the hell I do? Must be men and women. We have Winston at Shaw tomorrow at 3. We got Virginia State and Virginia Union. Okay, so we got a bunch of CIAA matchups. We got Lincoln and Bowie tomorrow. Ooh, those are going to be good. I'm going to have to try to pull the apps up. I'm going to need all the apps. You got to plug into Liv. Liv joined us. Make sure you follow her on social media. She covers almost all of the games. She don't miss much. So make sure you keep up with her as she goes through and details us play by play. And she keeps us on track with who's playing when. Let's see. Kentucky State plays Central State, Ohio tomorrow. Ed Waters is playing Savannah State. I know we talked about Savannah State for football this year, but I hadn't seen much for them. So I'll have to get into my notes to see how Savannah State is doing. We also have Morgan State and Delaware State playing tomorrow. We got Norfolk State and South Carolina State playing tomorrow. Ooh, Howard Central. That should be pretty good. Where's that going to be at? Anybody know where that's going to be at? Let me shrink this and bring y'all back up here. Where did you go? Oh my God, that's not what I was supposed to be doing. Wrong screen. There we go. No point shaving, please. Oh, don't talk about point shaving. We just seen with the NCAA, they cracking down on that. We're going to talk about that later. We're not talking about that today. Back to who's playing. So we got Jackson State playing Prairie View. Ooh, a good little swag matchup right there. Texas Southern and Alcorn. Excuse me. Spring Hill and Albany. Oh my God, scratched you hard. Southern and Grambling. That ought to be a really good game. Coach P over there at Grambling. Shout out to Coach P if you're watching. We got Lane and Lemoyne. I can't never get this. Lemoyne Owen, right? I think that's what it is. I don't know. Correct me as usual. Tuskegee and Miles is kicking it off at 5. We got Bethune-Cookman, Mississippi Valley, and then Coppin State and South Carolina tomorrow as well. Oh, that's on Sunday. I lied. That is on Sunday. So that is our rundown of who's playing. Folks that are traveling to Shaw get there by 1. I don't know. Is their arena small? Do they have a small gym? Alcorn. What did I say? Alcorn. It don't even look right when you spell it out that way. Alcorn. My bad. I appreciate you. Y'all know I'm a fiend for corrections. If I say it wrong, arena. Don't do that. Everything is an arena to me. Everything is arena to me. Ow, my bad. It's Alcorn. I'm going to write that in my notes because I'm going to forget that 10 more times. I can't be forgetting that kind of stuff. It's like playing this. Oh, man. So you telling me that gays and Brave Boy not the small gyms in the CIAA? A multi-purpose room. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's absolutely a difference. And you're right. Definitely keep me correct. I'm always open for correction. I will tear up a name in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. So correct me as many times as I need to be corrected. I ain't ever shaming that. Y'all know I can't have talk. And then I get carried away. I did really good. I didn't get too carried away today. I did pretty good today. So Shaw, definitely going to be on the lookout for that. Do I have to be there at 1? Oh, probably. I hate parking all the way, all far away. So I'm going to definitely try to get there. I have an appointment at 12. I'm not going to make it from Winston to Raleigh in time. So we'll see it. Watch it on the network. But I want the Chiefs and the C's. I want to go. Is it a doubleheader? Do you know if it's a doubleheader? If it's a doubleheader, I'm definitely going to make it. I can watch it on network on the way there. Shh, don't tell the police.
All right. So SJG interrupting. Hi, everyone.
Always.
So if you so here's the thing. You have to get there early before the girls' game in there, especially when they play Winston, because all the people from Raleigh that can't get in the games like to try to get in there. So then the Shaw people like to get in there because they don't want more Rams in there than us. And then at a certain point, it's like fire marshal. So like it's literally like if you drive by, you'll probably see a line of people outside behind that statue of a bear, hoping that someone leaves so that they can get in. Yeah, it's like that. It's like that.
Okay. I might have to sit that one out. I got an appointment at 12. I ain't gonna be able to make it. Dang. Next time. I don't miss too many in games. If it's a weekend, I'm definitely gonna be in games. Or Corbett. I go to Corbett, the game's over at Corbett too.
Now in 2 weeks, when we play Livingstone, you're gonna have to be there early again too for that. So
yeah, Livingstone shows up pretty good for football too. So I'll definitely have to, and I'm normally there pretty early for our games. It's not typically a problem for me getting there for our games. Like I said, this last game was packed when we played. Who did we just play?
Virginia State.
Not the other day, not Virginia State. Was it Virginia State?
Virginia's a Commonwealth.
I'm aware of that.
I'm going off. You got it.
Come on, Steve. Thanks for jumping in. Yes, you definitely need to come to games. We be having us a good time. Okay, we have us a good time at games. Yes, I thought I had my hair braided last week. Bluefield State. I can't even remember who I'm talking. Yes, ECSU. Yes, Elizabeth City State. That's who we played the last time. I was there. Yes, it was Elizabeth City State. And then the last game, like the other night, was Virginia State. We played Virginia State, but I didn't go. I didn't go to the Virginia State game. Like I said, school nights are really hard for me to get to. I'm about 50 minutes or so. It was blue the last time we saw it. My hair is never blue. My hair is almost always black, blonde, or red. I hadn't done blue hair, but now you got me thinking I might need to do blue hair. I had on a blue Jackson State sweater. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe I'll do blue braids the next time. It was in braids, but it was up. Yeah, it was probably up. I almost never wear the braids down like that, but it's growing, so it's causing a little tension on my head. So I wore it down so I didn't have to pull it up and strain myself. I had a little headache. Tried to hide it a little bit. And if you missed the beginning of the show, let me show y'all what I got today. Aren't these the coolest freaking shades you ever see in your life? Like, shut up. These are so freaking cool. All right. We at the end of the show. Run down again. We talked about NCAA Emerging Sports, which is something that I'm very passionate about. We were able to understand the growth. Maybe the accents I shut up. Yeah, it definitely was. No, you can't take my shades. I love these shades. I love these shades. Like they take up your whole face. I'm going to wear them with my COVID mask too. I need to put some Rain-X or something on the insides because they fog up on the inside. So we gave a shout out to all our D9 organizations, especially the ones celebrating Founders Day this week and this month. Again, thank you for your commitment to the community, your commitment to service, and commitment to HBCUs in general. We chatted through our Queen of the Week. We have our Queen of the Week was Coach Tierra Terry. Y'all know I get tongue-tied. Tierra Terry of WSSU women's basketball, going for 15 consecutive wins this weekend against the Shaw Bears. I'm really excited for that. We are at a school record right now. And just really excited to see all the amazing things that Coach Terry is doing. And then we talked through our run of our shows, the places we are putting the cheeks in our seats. Thank you so much, Ray, for joining us. Thank you, Liv, Alonzo. I love seeing y'all face pop up here on Fridays. Miss Shirley, thank you so much for coming in and shouting out your Deltas. Thank you all so much for joining us on Fridays. Make sure to follow us. This was Steve's doing. Ray, not mine. Take me out the group chat. Take me out the group chat. You better not get me banned from JCSU. You better not get me banned. Yes, get out of here. Okay, scram. Ray, it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with that, okay? I had nothing to do with that. Send your complaints directly to Steve, okay? Directly to Steve. Please, Alonzo, stop egging him on. Stop egging him on. So make sure you follow HBCU Game Day on all of the platforms here on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, on Instagram. And thank you. Y'all have a great week. Y'all better be sticking to y'all New Year's resolutions. Next week, we'll be talking about Title IX stuff. I love y'all too. All the hearts. But don't get me in trouble with JCSU. Okay? If it's Amir Shades, I'm out here like a state trooper, baby. I got them all. I got all the colors. But I thank y'all for joining me in my shenanigans again this week. Thank you so much for participating, for all your comments, your chats. Share it with your friends, twerking with your friends. And I'm going to talk to y'all next week. Peace.